Go.
Hi, I'm sorry I haven't been recording anything in a while, but I decided to do a video on the first Wizarding War. In the books, we experience the second Wizarding War, which is Voldemort's second time he tries to take power. The first Wizarding War was the first time. So here are some basics. It started in 1971. If you were a pureblood, which means your parents were both wizards, and you had the same ideas as Voldemort, you could stay alive. Voldemort used to be Tom Riddle. He adopted the name Voldemort at school, but only among his close friends who were known as the Knights of Walpurgis. At Hogwarts, he began to make things called Horcruxes. You'll learn more about Horcruxes in the 7th and 6th books. After Hogwarts, between 1945 and 1971, he continued to make Horcruxes. Between 1961 and 1971, he disappeared. In 1971, he became officially Voldemort. That same year, he asked Dumbledore for a job, and Dumbledore said no. Dumbledore was then headmaster of Hogwarts, and he asked for the Defense Against the Dark Arts job, or DADA. Between 1971 and 1973, he recruited magical creatures. He started killing innocent muggles, non-magical people, and enchanting their bodies to be inferi. So we had an army of dead people. He personally killed hundreds. He was pretty much untouchable. He lost power October 31st, 1981, which leads us into Dumbledore. He started the Order of the Phoenix. The Order of the Phoenix was a resistance group. Some of the people in it were Harry Potter's parents, James and Lily Potter, Sirius Black, Peter Pettigrew, and Arabella Fig. He battled Grindelwald right before this first Wizarding War, and he took the Elder Wand from him, the most powerful wand in the world. When Voldemort, Tom, asked him for a job, he called him Tom and said no. Hogwarts was safe during the first Wizarding War because Dumbledore was headmaster and Voldemort was afraid of him. So Voldemort had his army called Death Eaters. He combined the Knights of Walpurgis and Dark Wizards he met between this time, 1945 to 1971. They caused a lot of destruction, and they had the Dark Mark, which was basically a snake coming out of the mouth of a skull, that they would put over places where they had killed people. The Ministry of Magic, MOM. The first minister to deal with this was Navi Leech. He became minister in 1962. He was a Muggle-born, the first Muggle-born wizard. He left again in 1962. They were weakened. The ministry was weakened after Navi. Next was Jenkins. She dealt with Voldemort, but then she quit because it was too much. Then there was Harold Mitchum. He was good, but he couldn't serve for too long. Sirius Black and Peter Pettigrew. They started Hogwarts in 1971, the same year the first Wizarding War started. They were friends with James Potter and Remus Lupin. Sirius had a rivalry with Severus Snape, who also later teaches potions at Hogwarts. Peter was a traitor. Sirius used to be the secret keeper for the Potters. I'll explain more about that when I get to the Potters. But he had them switch to Peter because there was a rat in the group working with Voldemort. Potter Evans. Again, Evans is Lily Evans. They started Hogwarts in 1971. James also had a serious rivalry with Professor Snape. Well, he wasn't Professor Snape then. They defied Voldemort 3 times, which comes up later in the 5th book. They had a son named Harry. On October 31st, 1981, Lily and James are dead and Harry is alive and Harry is the boy who lived. That's the same date Voldemort lost power. I have credit for most of this information to MovieFlame, another YouTube channel who supplied me with most of my research. Thank you. Subscribe.